What's up, guys? I want to talk to you today, guys, about some baits that you need to have tied on come June time, right? Especially when we get it to the summer, like hotter months. I know you guys down south have already experienced hot days, so sorry, you probably already been tossing these things. But and if you haven't already, please stay tuned. You might learn something new, man. Get a different bait in your hand that you haven't already had. But like I said, just covered a couple baits that come this June/summertime. These baits that I'm going to talk about here are going to be perfect, regardless of situation, water, clarity, color, any of that. Okay, you guys, look, don't be afraid to try something new, man. You never know what can help you out. We just give it a shot, man. Literally come out with maybe 2 or 3 rods on the deck, or 2 or 3 rods to the bank. Doesn't matter. And just give it a shot. Let me run to this first spot, and I shall see you guys there. There we go. Hooked up. Decent one for sure. All right, so we're on the board with number 1. Nice little hook set right there at the top of the snout. And this is a worm that you can swim, okay? Has a little kicker action tail on the back. Some type of swimming worm, okay? It's one of the first baits I want to talk to you guys about. That I think a lot of people just use a regular Senko, or they could use something like a little small swim bait or something like that. You put those two together, might get something like that. That bait right there. Talk to you about that for a half second. So this time of year, you're gonna get a lot of vegetation growth. So the key thing about this, you want this thing to be pretty much weedless, right? So you can fish it in cover. You can fish it through grass. So something like this is absolutely perfect. 3/8 ounce tungsten head. The bead is not mandatory. Okay, it's just something I like to do. Gives it a little more action, a little more noise. Get the fish's attention. And I think it's like a 5-inch worm or so. And I just peg it right up top, and I leave just a hair bit of a gap on the peg. Yeah, see that? Hair of a gap on the peg, so you can get a little knocking sound. Okay, like I said, peg's not mandatory. It's just something I like to try out. That looks like a nick in my line. Guys, be sure to always check your line. Okay, I got a nick way down here, so if I snapped off a fish, look how close it is to my reel, and my bait is still way out. Okay, so side note, check your line. But that's one of the first baits you could use come this time of year that I think most guys, like I said, will use just a regular Senko or something like a Kitech for swimming. Why not use something that could do both? You know what I mean? This rod and reel set up here. I got some Gomex's handles. Those are pretty cool. But just a 7:3 to 1 gear ratio reel with some 17-pound line. I just say ESP 7'2" medium heavy ESP 6-inch rod. It can handle 10 to 20-pound line, 1/4 to 3/4 ounce baits. So perfect for this. Love the sensitivity. Like I said, I've been using this thing a bunch, so don't mind the little beat up lettering and stuff like that, whatever. But the grip's great, sensitivity is great. Makes it super easy when it's time to go to work and use your equipment. Another one. All right, that's fish number 2. On that little swimming worm, man. That thing works, bro. Like, you just gotta put it in your hand and just stick with it, okay? So with that being said, we're gonna move on to the next spot and the next bait. All right, so the next bait I want to talk to you guys about is this little buddy right here. Can you guys see that clearly? I hope so. That right there is a 3-inch. Get me right, 3-inch, right? 3-inch little swim bait. That's actually a Divine swim bait by 6 cents. Something like that, man. That right there is a key bait this time of year. And the reason I said a lot of guys are going to throw that 4-inch, 5-inch, or even bigger swim baits, things like that. If you want to be different from the pack, right? Most guys are going to throw, like I said, that 4 or 5-inch. Get that 2.8, 3.2, whatever, like I said, smaller swim bait. If you look at minnows, bait fish, things like that, there are still a good amount of them still in that 3-inch size. Not all bait fish are huge, you know what I mean? If you can get around structure, cover, things like that, getting up shallow, up near that wood, up near rocks, whatever the case may be, and again, near vegetation, a lot of these fish that are in lakes that have vegetation, they like to be up in the vegetation. So if you can get a small little swim bait like that and mimic the bait fish that are swimming around, mimic the minnows, a lot of M's, mimic the bait fish that are around. Bait like that is a little clutch thing that most guys aren't going to throw because they think, midsummer, fish are super active, they want super big baits. You're going to come across those tough days where that little bait fish size swim bait comes into play. This right here got it paired up on 15-pound braid with 12-pound leader. That leader is maybe about, 10 feet long or so, something like that. But I give it about a 12-pound leader. I think that's plenty heavy enough and plenty light enough for most applications of most bodies of water. The rod is a 7-foot medium fast action rod. I like that fast for that quick whip to get that bait out there pretty far. And then that medium power. So once you get hooked up with a fish, you won't be bending out that, like I said, something like that. I think it's like a 1/4 ounce. Yeah, 1/4 ounce or a little 1/8 ounce jig head. Again, by 6 cents. If you guys want to check it out, I'll leave the links to the items down below. It is somewhat of a finesse technique, but I don't think a lot of guys are throwing this time of year. And something like that will get you a lot more bites than throwing the same thing as everybody else. So keep that in mind, guys. Try it. Again, this can work for pond guys. Doesn't matter. Lake, pond, river, doesn't matter. Something like that can still get you bit out here. Now, I'm gonna keep fishing here. I got one more bait I want to show you guys before it gets too dark, you know. We're gonna move on to the next spot and see what we can get. All right, guys. This is the last bait I want to talk about. That is not your regular standard. Can you see that? That's not your standard bladed jig, okay? That sucker is 1/2 ounce, or you go 3/4 ounce, or you can go 1 ounce. My point is, use a heavier bladed jig than most people. Okay, the fish are, let me put them down, give them some water. Give me 1 second. All right, so my point, use a heavier jig. This time of year, once the summertime hits, you got something called a thermocline. That happens all across the nation, all across the world, whatever. You'll have an area in which bass cannot go because there is little to no oxygen. It's gonna be a certain level, and you'll see it on your 2D sonar sometimes when you're driving around. You'll see this like little blurry, fuzzy, fizzy line. It's called a thermocline. Bass and other fish, period, do not want to go below that because there's, again, little to no oxygen down there. So they're going to have a breaking point of how deep they can go, but yet they don't want to be by the surface because of how hot it is going to be, right? So instead of using your 1/4 ounce, whatever, you know, bladed jig, use something a little heavier, 1/2 ounce, 3/4 ounce, full ounce. You'll have some of these fish who are still above that thermocline, but it's sitting in 15 feet of water, 12 feet of water, 10 feet of water. That 1/4 ounce bladed jig is not going to do the trick, okay? Once everyone else is finished beating up the bank, what do you have left? Deeper water. So you throw something down there that's a little bit different than they've ever seen before. And I'm not gonna say ever, because yes, you have a few people who might throw this thing. And some guys want tournaments off. You throw a heavier bladed jig down there, vibration, you know, has that erratic action. Something like that is way different than what they've ever probably experienced. You get to a body of water that, again, is nice and hot. They're not up shallow anymore. Everyone else is beating the bank. Get yourself off that bank. Get about, you know, 8-10 feet of water, maybe 15 in some situations. 15-pound line is what I use. That was about a 7'2" rod. 7.3 to 1 gear ratio is going to be fine. 6.3 to 1 is fine as well. But you want that bait deeper in the water column. Again, that's going to be something that they have not seen before down there with them. A lot of people throwing, you know, deep cranks, dragging a worm. Throw a heavy bladed jig down there. It's going to get you guys more bites, I guarantee it. That's it for me, guys. As you can see, sun is setting. It's getting a little dark out here. I'm going to go back to a spot where I know I can frog fish. Look, that is it. Don't get me wrong. That's a great June summer bait, frog, period. But that's another video, another topic. We can get to top water if you want to. Leave me a comment down below, guys. Let me know what you guys want me to talk about. So I got a couple multi-species videos coming up for you guys. So you guys stay tuned. Be sure to subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell so you guys are notified anytime and every time I post. I'll leave my social medias down below so you guys follow along. Thank you guys for tuning in today. See you guys next time. Take care.